Hey YouTubers and video gamers and all that out there. You're watching my channel. I stripped a screw and I do a lot of repairs to video game consoles. I went to take it out, put a little too much pressure with my precision screwdriver and popped it out. Now, I don't always recommend this, but this screw is so bad. Like, if you look at it, I would have had to spend like $71 on a micro grab-it set. Not worth it. Not worth it that go around. I could down the road, but I put a repair box joystick, if you're curious. So what I did, gently pulled back, put a little pressure on it, and broke off the piece on it that mounts it. But the fun part is, when I put it back in, there was still enough thread on the shaft, as you can see way down there, or it's a see-through. We'll take a look at this. And I was able to fix it with parts off this joystick, off the broken one. So it's got an original Nintendo center screw that holds this one together. So we're going to take a look how bad this one was. So this is the old joystick. So I'm just going to do the clips. Sometimes they are a pain in the butt. Sometimes they open. Sometimes they got you flat against your belly. And it drives you nuts. You know, this one's not too bad. There's a little bit. Yeah, it's worn off. See down there, there's a shavings on the inside. There's a little board. Could I resell it? I don't know. It actually looks pretty decent. It could be rebuilt. I actually know a guy, a friend of mine named Terry, probably take it off my hands. He might put a stick in it. So this is an authentic Nintendo controller joystick, 64 joystick. See how it works with the orbital spring in it. It's a pretty basic setup. This is your repair box. It's slowly coming together. It'll look a lot better once I get the screws back in it. Yeah, the screws. Oh yeah, they're over here on the coffee table. So it's been a long night. I spent an hour and 20 minutes trying to figure out what do I do next. You know, sometimes, I hate to say it, but sometimes you just gotta rip it right out on some screws. You just get so frustrated and you're just like, dang, just rip it out and let's see what happens. By luck, and that's a very expensive controller, once it's all cleaned up, I was able to rip some of it, but I didn't rip very much of it. It was only about 1 1/8 of an inch or less. It wasn't even that. So it ended up in my favor working, and now I just need to put the other screws in it. See, I leave the screws in the system. I might have to take them out because that controller needs an awful cleaning. Before I even put this back together, I'm going to take Kleenex and go around the sides, and what that is actual human skin, and it's jammed up in the crevices. Sweat all builds up in there when you're playing Zelda or Star Fox or whatever game your favorite is. I don't care. And basically, that's how all that sweat gets in there. Doesn't matter who it is. You can't blame it on anybody. It's because it's just how humans are. we sweat. We have skin follicles. They all jam in there. Another guy, Corlick, explained the same thing about PS2 controllers. Same thing happens. It happens on pretty much any controller you own. You could have the Xbox One Pro or whatever. I don't know what they call that one. The big, like that, the souped up Xbox One controller, and it could be packed right full of sweat. I'm looking at an original Xbox controller where the memory slots are. You can see the dust on the inside. I haven't taken a Q-tip and cleaned them. But that's just natural wear and tear. It will be cleaned before it's reassembled. We're just going to reassemble these guys first so that the cleaning process will be a lot easier. So I'm going to get back to this. Hopefully this was helpful. I don't always recommend it because sometimes it will not work and it might just rip it right off. So if it worked for you, I guess it's okay, but I'm just grateful it worked for me. Now it's time to put this thing back together. And this should be pretty easy, but it's getting all this grime off. It's going to be the hardest part. I think my best choice would be like a nice soft cloth. I got one in there, that nice little blue soft cloth. Should clean it right up. So yeah, this should come back together pretty easy. The bumpers are usually the hardest, but you just can't let it get to you. That's what I found with video game consoles. When you're repairing them, don't let stuff get to you too easily. When you start taking them apart, and if you feel that you don't know what you're doing, stop. Just stop. It's not worth it. Because if the system's worth like $200 or something like that or more, and you mess it up real bad, stop while you're ahead and take it to somebody that does know and gets it back together for you for a price. And that price may be like give or take 50 or $60, but still it's better than buying like a $600 system again. You know, when you watch my videos, please use caution. You gotta remember, I've been doing this for a long time, fixing video game consoles, electronics, building speakers, you name it. It's either you have it or you don't. It's not everybody's calling. I think, honestly, what you want to do is when you open these systems up, you've got to make sure that you have it, that you know what you're doing. Everything's out of hands grab, like my toolbox. I can fix pretty much anything Nintendo makes, but even I've had a few troubles. I wrecked a PS2 one time. How I did that, I took an air compressor, blew the fan so hard it ripped the motherboard apart. Like, it didn't put a rip in the motherboard. It, like, just, the fan put too much power on the motherboard, even though it was unplugged. I thought an air compressor would be a faster way to clean the dust on it. That was the dumbest choice I ever made. So even people such as me make mistakes, as you can see tonight. And we're all human. So if you're doing this and you know what you're doing and you get a strip screw and you can't get it out, I suggest to you use a lot of tin foil on the tip of your screwdriver or an elastic. And if that don't work, try my method. If it's on a Nintendo controller, and if it's that bottom screw, don't try it on any other, because you'll break your motherboard. And make sure these guys are up too. And everything's declipped, and it should pull out. I had no choice. It was either that or wait for my buddy Terry to put it in at his pawn shop. So I'll see you later, and you guys have a great time. Bye.